Hey everyone, I'm Shane Reinhardt, owner of Reinhardt's Four Seasons, and I'm here to show you how I took my business from a push mower to what it is today. All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the next episode of our YouTube series. Today's topic that we're gonna go over is talking about which type of vehicle to go with. Do we wanna choose gas or a diesel? Do we wanna choose new versus old? So there's kind of two things we're gonna cover here. But to get started, I actually just decided to bring a professional in. So standing next to me here is Matt from Emanate Services up in Pulaski. Matt takes care of all of our trucks, our fleet, every single one of them really. Been with you for probably 2-3 years now.
Yep.
And you know, kind of building off of our last video that we did, or 2 videos ago maybe, about, you know, we talked about our dealership that we want to grow with and work with in regards to our mowers and our smaller equipment. The same thing goes for having, you know, just a good relationship with a mechanic that you can trust and count on. You know, we talked about a lot in that video, and it all holds true with the relationship that you and I have, Matt. So you know, to get started, I guess, Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this line of work?
Grew up on a farm.
Good start.
Wrecked a lot of stuff as a child.
Okay.
And had to fix it. That's kind of just how I got started into it.
Okay. And now, how long have you been in business in Pulaski there?
Probably since 06.
06. And then before that, you were?
Working at dealers.
Okay.
Went to college as a diesel tech.
Okay.
And then worked my way through a couple Ford dealerships, Freightliner too.
Okay.
And then I worked for a franchise automotive store. Actually, 2 full-time jobs, but learned that my calling was working for myself. So
I think a lot of us have.
yeah.
Cool. So obviously, like, this has really been your life, like engines and trucks and everything. I know more than that even has been a part of your life. But, you know, it's cool because like one of the things that I love about working with you is that, you know, how many times can I call you about specifically one of these 7.3s and say, hey, this is what it's doing. And you say, go tap that thing 3 times, kick it in the bumper, and turn the key 4 times and it'll start. And it's like, oh, it worked. Now, obviously, that's not what you tell me, but to me, that's what it sounds like sometimes. But I just do what I'm told, and a lot of the times it works. And if it doesn't, you usually make an educated guess on what it is before I even bring it over. And I would say 99% of the time, you're right when you call me back and say, yep, it was that, it's done.
Yep.
So, cool. So that's a little bit about Matt. So now we're just going to dive right into it, really. Matt, the first topic that we really want to cover is, you know, there's a lot of contractors out there that are, you know, either landscapers like ourselves, or maybe concrete guys, or maybe, you know, folks that run cattle trailers all over the place, farmers, the list goes on and on. What would you recommend someone get a diesel truck? Like, let's just talk about a new diesel truck nowadays. What would you recommend somebody, or what job position would somebody have that you would say, yep, that person should have a diesel vehicle?
Prime example you just said, probably somebody like a cattle jockey.
Okay.
A guy that's hauling all day long, all the way through the week. Somebody's actually using it. It's not just sitting there idling all the time.
Right.
It's actually pulling and being used.
Got
Using its efficiency. It's meant to be used and underload all the time.
Right. So we were actually just talking a little bit before this, like one of the biggest issues with diesel trucks, or what people do to diesel trucks, is a lot to do with just, they're actually not being used hard enough, right?
Right. The worst part is obviously idling. These things need to regenerate, clean their systems, the exhaust systems out. They need to actually reach high temperatures. If the foreman's sitting in that truck all day, keeping his feet warm, and it's not doing anything, all he's doing is sooting that system up.
Sure. So in that case, like, that would not be really a need for a diesel. So really, like, you know, I guess let's go into, I'll ask you the same question. What would you recommend somebody get a gas engine for? You know, even though we're talking work trucks right now, obviously. And I think that there's, kind of this like, we all have a man card, right? And, we got one trailer to pull, and we all think we need the $60,000, well, not even 60 anymore, the $80,000, $90,000 diesel truck, when it's really not the case. What would you recommend somebody getting a gasoline truck for?
Well, it's standing in front of your lawn care. This is a prime example. You probably do a 2-hour lawn or a service.
Yep.
And you take off and you run for another 40 minutes. You shut off. It's not carrying its max capacity.
Right.
Typically, I would say this is ideal.
Yeah,
perfect.
We're really not. Like, I'm glad you brought that up. We're pulling around a couple lawnmowers that probably weigh 1,500 pounds a piece, plus the trailer and some trimmers. We're not pulling 10,000 pounds around.
Right.
And you're right. We go, we make 20 stops a day on average, and each of those stops are probably 5 to 15 minutes apart.
Yep.
And then it runs for maybe, it shuts off for maybe 20 minutes to 60 minutes.
Right.
So like if I had a diesel in that case, it would never even get up to the operating temperature, really.
You may not get, right. Especially if you're in a neighborhood and you're start, stop, go around this cul-de-sac to the next, it never gets its chance, obviously, to regenerate.
Right.
And you're still, once again, wasting it. It's a workhorse. It's meant to be used.
Sure.
Actually, it wants to be used. That's the whole idea to it. That's when it's most efficient.
Okay. And I mean, let's face it, the gas trucks nowadays are far more capable than, the old 350 Chevs or the 302 Fords. Those didn't really have a whole heck of a lot to them.
No.
Where, at that point, if you had to pull anything, you did want a diesel. But now, I mean, they just make insane power. And I think along with that power, they have really sophisticated transmissions that allow you to get that power to the ground, right?
Right, absolutely. Especially with all the new 10 speeds.
Yeah.
Excellent.
We have two. Actually, no, this one's the 10 speed, and it pulls clean.
Yeah.
Very, very clean.
Yeah.
So, really to recap, if you're considering going, do I need a gas truck or do I need a diesel truck? You have to think about the purpose that you're going to use that truck for. The truck behind Matt here, this is a gasoline truck. It makes a lot of stops throughout the day. It doesn't necessarily get up to those high operating temperatures. And it can pull a good amount of weight yet. We're not overloading it. And it does a really nice job. Not to mention, I'm guessing it's about $10,000 less for a gas truck nowadays.
Easily,
than a diesel.
I think that is the market. It's $10,000 to 10 to 12, I'd say.
Right, and the maintenance is a little bit less on a gasoline, or cheaper.
A lot less.
Right.
A lot less.
And you mentioned it before too. Let's just say that the engine goes in a gasoline truck. What did you say? You could throw
just a number off the wall on the average truck, 70, just say 7,000. You could pull a motor and, put it in this gas one. In an average diesel, let's just say a Duramax or a Ford, 7,000 just gets you injectors.
Right, big difference there.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we have, this gasoline truck for the type of purpose that we use it for. The truck behind me here, this is an old 7.3. This truck is one of our landscaping trucks. So this one actually pulls, loads of gravel around in it, pulls a skid steer around, or is just running materials from site to site, where it's running most of the day.
Yep.
Or it goes to a job site and it'll sit there for the day until we're ready to leave. So now there's the second part of this conversation that we're going to have. We're going to talk a little bit about old versus new. I mean, you had a very great way of putting this, so I'll just let you go. I mean, we've got a 1999 sitting here right now and a 2022 sitting right here. What's your advice to somebody who's thinking, well, do I want a new truck or do I want an old truck? And where can you go with that?
Well, you still, no matter what, you still have the saying, you're going to make your payments. Either you're going to make them to the mechanic or you're going to make them to the bank.
Sure.
At the end of the day, at least you'll have collateral. You know what I mean?
Yep.
With that part. But you need these. This truck is maybe in somebody's starting out.
Yeah.
This is affordable. This can get them where they got to go.
Right.
But they need to use it like a stepping stone. They need to use it, keep it maintained, and have a date that eventually they understand that they need to step it up.
Right.
Obviously, you may not be able to go right from this to a brand new one, but continue to progress up.
Right.
Because these do get old and they depreciate and they don't last forever. They're not meant to last forever.
Right.
They're disposable.
They sure are, and that's exactly what it was for us. Like, we didn't start with you know, the nicest of vehicles when we got going.
Right.
That's for sure. And, you know, really something that I thought about when I was starting, which I don't know how I had a thought this smart, was the truck doesn't make me the money. The lawnmower makes me the money. So when I got started, you know, once I got rid of the push mower and I went into a commercial mower, I got the best commercial mower that I could get my hands on and afford. The truck I had at the time, that wasn't the same philosophy, because all I needed that truck just to get me from one property to the next, which was still important, but people weren't paying me to drive to their house. They were paying me to cut their grass.
Sure.
And, you know, I mean, I've been on the consumer side of things where, you know, yeah, these can cost you, they're affordable. You can buy these usually without a loan, but they're going to have unexpected downtime and unexpected expenses where, yeah, we have a payment on this brand new truck, but guess what? I know what that payment is for the next 60 months. It's not going to change. And then also in the next 60 months, if something happens with that, I drop it off at the dealer, and it should be, I don't have to pay anything for that first, you know, 5 year, 60 month, whatever, or a 5 year, 100,000 mile warranty, which is just really a comforting thing. Not to mention, you throw 2-3 guys in one of these things and you're sitting on the side of the road. You think the expensive part is the bill to fix it. You got to start thinking about the lost time that you've had now too, because you've missed out on the job that you were supposed to do. You're paying wages while the guys are sitting on the side of the road. So those are really, you know, all things to consider. But I think in a nutshell, as we talked before, the biggest thing you need to do as a buyer is to figure out what is the purpose of this vehicle going to be. If it's going to be, in our case, a lawn care truck, easy answer. It's a gasoline, you know, for that purpose. Now, this truck behind me, it made more sense to have a diesel. As a side note, we do actually have a truck coming to replace this that is going to be a gasoline vehicle for the reasons that we just talked about. We just don't need that diesel engine to run, you know, a 20-minute radius from our shop here. We'll never get it up to temperature. So that's really what you need to think of as a consumer, as a buyer for your next vehicle, is everything we've covered so far. So I guess I just want to say thank you to you, M&H Service up in Pulaski, and for the relationship that you've given us in the care. You know, I'll kind of recap with that video we did with our power supply place, Kim's, is that it's important the same way for me to be really transparent with you about, hey, you know what, Matt, this vehicle's down. I actually don't need this though until next week. Because the same thing as I said about Wes with our mowers and stuff, if I tell Matt, hey man, I need this tomorrow, I know Matt's gonna do everything in his power to get that vehicle handled if it's within his control. But if I actually don't need it tomorrow, why would I put that extra stress on him? And at the same time, if I call Matt and say, hey, we got a truck down, there's been times where he might say, listen, I got my hands full for the next 2-3 days, but as soon as I get through this cycle of stuff, I will get on it. And then I know for the planning, hey, I know Matt's booked. I can't change that, and I don't want to change that. And I know by that second or third day or whatever he's told me that it will be handled, or at least he'll start digging into it to figure out what the heck's going on. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's been, there's a lot of things in business that are hard, but you know, a relationship with you and Kim's and a lot of other people has made a lot of things very easy too. So I appreciate that. Thank you for helping me out with this video too. We got tons of subscribers at this point. Someday we will. But thank you as the audience as well. I hope that you've learned something from this. If you do have any questions, feel free to comment or message. We'd love to continue the conversation if necessary. But that's all for now. We'll see you guys next time.